Good evening, good evening. It's Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Tonight, officer down. A Yonkers police officer shot in the line of duty, rushed to a local area hospital where he was in critical condition. What's going on here in the city, folks? Let's talk about it. Good evening, good evening. Good evening, folks. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Tonight, officer down. Yonkers police officer shot in the line of duty. Police officer, 27-year veteran, was set to retire in a week. Retiring in a week. Unfortunately, today he was shot in the abdomen. He was in critical condition and rushed to Jacoby Medical Center, where sources say he lost a lot of blood. I'm praying for him. I've asked my family to pray for his family and the officer, and I ask you all to do the same. Being a police officer, I would imagine, is not an easy job. Recent years, regardless of what your position is on police officers, I think we all can agree it's been rough on cops in general. Yes, there have been issues, that we've seen that weren't so maybe, things we like to see. But for the most part, they do an excellent job. And I do want to shout out the police here in the city of Yonkers. They do a good job. They do. And as someone who's, I've never, I've had one silly arrest. It was dismissed. So I've never had much police contact in my life. I've always tried to avoid it, as best possible. But, I can see the change in the department and speaking with officers now. I mean, I very recently have been coming into contact with police a lot. And just today, I came into contact with police after the two guys there at the building department entrance decided to radio a 1017. Apparently, they thought that was going to do something to Freddie Vasquez because I refused to wait outside. But I mean, I came in there very respectful. I did. No camera, no phone, just my plans. They all expecting it. All the people at the top are expecting me to deliver these plans. And I came in to do it. And, the gentleman had a personal issue with me. It's personal now with him. And he's, made it bigger. But the point is that he and the auxiliary officer radioed a 1017. And just before all the cops arrived, a very respectful detective showed up and asked me politely if, Freddie, he goes, do I know you? I know you something, don't I? I go, maybe. I'm Freddie Vasquez. He moves me out. I said, for you, I will go outside. And while he talked to the individuals, as I waited outside, I heard the sirens, wow, and they all rushed. I mean, it must have been about 6 cop cars, but they came quick and they were all very respectful. And they even felt bad for me. And they wonder why these individuals even had a police radio. And why would they radio in a 1017? There's nothing 1017 about it, whatever that means. But another reason why I bring it up is because these individuals, for personal reasons, lack of better judgment, decided to waste police resources on an individual that was calmer than they were. They were louder and more aggressive. I sat there and I said, okay, I'll wait till they arrest me, because they threatened to arrest me. And here you have 6 cop cars for nonsense. 20 minutes later, you get an officer shot. Now, I'm not saying that, that waste of police manpower and resource when they called up there for no reason, could have prevented this. But police officers have enough to deal with as it is, as you can see here. All right. So I hope you two gentlemen at the building department, I'm sure you're going to watch this. I know you do. You should feel really ashamed and silly. And everybody was not on your side. Everyone came down. Freddie, what's going on? I'm sorry. And I appreciated you guys. Maria, thank you. Thank you to the other ladies. Thank you to the police officers. Thank you. Thank you to the detective. I appreciate that. I saw the same detective on Elm Street, actually on Linden there, where they did a press conference earlier today. He joked around with me and said, got to keep this guy out of trouble. Nolan, County Legislator Nolan. I was speaking to County Legislator Jimmy Nolan at the time. I'm not a bad guy, misunderstood. A plainclothes Yonkers police officer was shot while on the job Wednesday afternoon, 1 week before his planned retirement. Law enforcement sources said the detective was in critical but stable condition after he was shot once in the abdomen during a confrontation with a suspect inside an Elm Street bodega at 2 p.m., cops said. Yeah, just around the time they wasted the resources. His shooter was gunned down by the shooter was gunned down by an FBI agent. The suspect is dead. I hear that the police officer lost a lot of blood, but he's still, hanging in there. The detective was in critical but stable condition. I read the detective was part of a Westchester County Safe Streets Task Force. So this was a part of a task force. It was a combined task force between the FBI and the Yonkers police to curb gun violence. Right. And so the individual that they pursued into the bodega was someone they had been watching. Obviously, he's a known suspect dealing with weapons. As you can see, they were right on the mark in their choice of suspect. And they went in there, and I'm imagining that they wanted to search the guy, see if they can remove any weapons, but it got physical, something pushing or something. He pulled the gun out, shot the officer. The FBI agents responded, killing the suspect. Right. So our prayers now for the family of the officer. The officer, we pray for his, quick recovery. The detective was part of investigation called County Safe Street Task Force that was trying to arrest 3 people as part of an illegal gun investigation. Look, I also, they did touch on mental health. Yesterday, I went to the state budget meeting with Senator Shelley Mayer and Assemblyman Nader Sayegh, and they touched on mental health. 3 shootings here in the city of Yonkers. 3 shootings. Right? 2 of them, officers were injured. This is the 3rd one. 2nd one, officers injured. 2 out of 3 gun incidents, officers are injured. That's not a good ratio. It's not a good number. That's not a good number. The first incident was on Main Street, where the individual or someone called the cops. Cops came there. He had a gun. He had been dealing with mental health issues. These individuals, maybe not, but I'd like to know, were they dealing with mental health issues? And you know what? Because they're not diagnosed does not mean they're not. And that's not to justify what the individual did. My point in bringing that up is to say that we need to address mental health. We have to take it more serious because it is putting many people in jeopardy. And not to say that people with mental health are dangerous. That's not generalizing. But we have had an experience in the past 2 years that we haven't gone through before. A very traumatic experience, being locked down, losing jobs, right? I mean, losing loved ones for reasons because of the lockdown, to COVID, to the vaccines. We have gone through a very traumatic 2 years as a race of people, humans, right? Particularly here in the United States. And I'm sure that many of us are being affected with mental health. So we need to identify if that is a big problem and what is causing, obviously, more violence. They say it's countrywide, and I get that. I understand. But we here in Yonkers, and we can't kind of pass the buck that way. We can't say it's happening everywhere. Fine, but we got to worry about Yonkers. And how do we stop it here? right? Because I've traveled very recently to many cities, and Yonkers looks like it's doing pretty okay. Although we have, I mean, there's a lot more homeless, and I drive around the town, and I'm seeing a lot of people each and every day panhandling more on Elm Street there and Neperhan or Yonkers Ave, whatever you call it at that point, Neperhan probably, right? I even further down on Elm Street, closer to Getty Square, on the side of the exits on the parkways here, I've seen people panhandling like never before. Never before. Desperate times. But we have to address mental health because that is definitely contributing. And I'm not talking about traditional mental health, right? That we've, I'm not talking about what we would, traditionally see, right? I'm talking about the added mental health effects that we as a nation have suffered because of the past 2 years. Will, you said that before. You sure? I think I'm getting sound. Anybody here? Can someone just, if you can hear me, just say I can hear you. Anyone? Because I have people watching. I would imagine they would have went down to 0. You're back on. You know what? I have been having issues with my internet lately. And I'm not wanting to be paranoid, but, I think maybe they're trying to stop me, my internet, So, but anyway, yeah, so we have to focus on that. And I want police officers out there to understand that you have to speak up a bit more and say, hey, elected officials, because I don't put this on the police. I don't. Police are a reactive measure, right? They're not proactive in that they go out there. I mean, they do things to try to be proactive, but it's usually still you're catching the person in the act. I'm talking about before the person even gets the act in his mind, the thought, right? We have to, address that. But police more there are reactive after the fact, right? So we need to, police officers, you as well, start to say, hey, elected officials, when are you guys going to address the serious mental health, concerns and drug addiction? Because that K2 stuff or whatever, that synthetic weed, that stuff will have people bugging out and seeing things. And, and if you happen to be an individual that walks around with a gun, you're in a gang, and then you decide that one day to smoke K2 or whatever, and then your mind goes somewhere and you pull out that gun. And could be quite possibly what happened here. We don't know. But I'm just trying to understand why an individual will pull out a gun and shoot a police officer rather than just take the gun charge. I mean, with the bail reform and everything, you probably would have been out the next day. But shooting a police officer, if they had not killed him, he would be going to jail probably for the rest of his life. Why make that decision? So I'm wondering the state of the mind state that the individual was in who decided to do that, because I just don't see why not take the gun charge. Just you're caught, right? Why make it worse? It death or long time in jail, right? That was the only options making that decision. Why not take the gun charge and then with bail reform that, people like Native Sage supported, it would have been out the next day, guy. Right. But I was wondering the mental health state of that individual. I wanted to play a video here, show kind of the overview of the scene there today. And I saw the cops. I saw them flying not too long after I left the building department, after they came for me. And I appreciate you guys. They were very respectful. Yeah, please. I'm very respectful. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you guys. And they have been. Every single time someone's tried to mess with me, they have been very respectful. Even one of the officer ladies said, poor guys, poor guy. Yeah, poor me. Thank you. One person says, poor Freddie. No one ever feels sorry for me. But I want to give you just a view of the scene here from a helicopter. I believe this is Channel 7 News.
Today, and one of the suspects is dead after a shooting in Yonkers today. Police say it started when a joint FBI Westchester County gun task force was trying to arrest 3 people when one of the suspects opened fire. That gunman was later killed by another member of the task force. Newscopter 7 was live over the scene, and Eyewitness News reporter Josh Einiger is on the ground. Josh.
investigation. And Bill, you may be able to see behind me that really large black command post that just rolled in here. That's a federal vehicle here because this is now a federal investigation. It was an FBI agent, police say, who fired the shot that killed the gunman, the alleged gunman in this case, after he shot a Yonkers police detective. We could show you video as this was all unfolding. This happened around 2 o'clock this afternoon in a joint task force investigation, a gun investigation, where officers from this task force were targeting several people related to some sort of investigation that police are still trying to work through, at least public. Of the task force, an FBI agent returned fire, firing, police say, also one shot, hitting and killing the shooter.
An officer who has tremendous damage to his stomach and, colon and intestines and, just really, thank God he looks like he's going to pull through. But this very effort that they're putting up in trying to make sure that people are safe, this is the residual result of this, that they're out there trying to get these guns off the street. We know we're seeing upticks in violence. And because of the work we're doing, we have enjoyed much less gun violence than everybody else.
So he's saying that, the reason why the officers were even out there in this joint task force was to combat crime, right? Gun violence, I should say, curb gun violence, take guns off the street. And again, police officers, while that is a proactive measure, it's still somewhat in a reactive thing, and they're still kind of reacting to a scene. How do we get individuals not to walk around with guns to begin with? That's what we have to figure out. That's what we have to try and figure out. And, how do we do that? And let's make it happen, because this is happening way too often here in the city of Yonkers. I know it hasn't happened as much, but it's happened too much. Way too much. But I'll tell you what else. It's happened way too much in that area. That's District 2. That's represented by Corazon, Pineda, Isaac. And once again, it's like deja vu, Corazon. Deja vu. You're standing there behind the mayor with that face. You don't step up to the plate. You don't step up to the podium and speak. This is your district. But you're focusing on that low stuff. That's what you guys are worried about. Got people getting shot up in your district again. You think that's going to stop? Probably not, unless you do something different. And I know last time they had police officers hang out there for a while, but they could only stay there for so long. Why not just put a satellite police station there? You might as well. Could have used some of the space up in the community center that's still a work in progress that was supposed to be done. Remember the $1 million that was spent there and it was completed? Yeah. Well, you can add a mobile or satellite office there for police officers. I mean, you just put up a mixed development there, affordable and low income housing, and now people are getting shot right down the street. You see what I mean? And I spoke about this in earlier podcasts. Where are they putting the affordable and low income housing? Segregation 2022. Still in the poorest communities, particularly the tree areas, or tree streets, whatever you want to call them. That area is probably, in terms of gun violence, the worst area. But they recently put a mixed-use development there. Who's going to be in there? A lot of Black and Latinos. And then you got the community center that you're supposed to have renovated or turned the church into that community center with $1 million in funding. But it's still a work in progress. This is almost 2 years later, folks, from when they said it was done. Yeah. They went on TV and said it's done, and it's not. And I still see construction stuff, which is why I asked, is it a community center for people interested in construction? I don't know. So what are you doing, Corazon? What are you doing, my heart? You have to address these issues in your district. You have to step up, because if you don't make a statement and speak up on this, then you are a lame duck and you cannot be in there anymore. You're not doing your job. You're not doing your job. Not doing your job. Step up. You got elected to represent that district. Step on up. Because again, standing behind the mayor ain't gonna do nothing for you, baby. I mean, you think they got you like that? Maybe. Why? Yes, so what the hell happened today? Sorry. The Yonkers police officer shot was a part of a joint task force. I had said that that consists of Yonkers police, state, and as well as FBI. Individuals from the FBI were the ones who shot the individual, killing him, which is why they have the federal, that big black command center now. The federal, it's a federal crime scene. So you know the story. We know the story. Now, what we want to know is what are the elected officials going to do about it? I spoke with John Mueller. He introduced himself again to me. Sean, who you met? I know it's funny. But anyway, he reintroduced. We're starting on a new footing, I believe. And he had this idea. He said the people in the community are great. They're very great. The community is awesome. The majority of the people are not the problem. Yes, the majority of the people are not the problem. But too many people are. And his idea, he wants to do like a community event night on one of the hottest days in July, he was telling me. And he said, Freddie, maybe you could get the blow up water slide thing, and put it somewhere in the middle of the street over there on Elm. And then, let the kids party and everybody and barbecue and stuff from 9 to 1. And I think that's great. I mean, that builds community, I just don't understand why so late though. Why don't we do it earlier? It's more appropriate. The kids got to be in bed. I know it's the summertime, but we still got to maintain order. Consistency is key. Got to teach kids that. Maybe during the day, that'd be a great idea. However, that doesn't dig deep into the root of the problem. Okay? I just want to say that. Okay, that'll be fun for a day. And you will attract a majority of the people that are not the problem. So you will, because the majority of people are not the problem. So those are the ones that you're going to impact, and they're going to be there. But tomorrow, the day after that, what then? What then? I'm just saying, I'm asking John in a nice way. Maybe my face doesn't look that way. I'm a bit tired. I've been going all day today. Then what, John? I also spoke with County Legislator Jimmy Nolan, who has a gun buyback program. I wanted to ask that question that he wanted. No, okay, I'm sorry. But I think it's relevant in that here we have another crime. You committed with a gun. Police officer shot. Thank God he's not, he's still alive. Thank God he's still alive. Thank God. And let's keep praying for him. He should be recovering. He's in stable condition, critical but stable condition. But we got to get these guns off the street. County Legislator Jimmy Nolan has a gun buyback program that he's working on, right? And he wants to make it county-wide where people can bring in guns, no questions asked, and they'll give you a certain amount of money. Although, Jim, you got to offer some good money because these guns are worth a lot on the streets, okay? And some people want the gun. They'll spend I don't know how much, $1,000. What do you get a gun in the street for? $500, $1,000, whatever it is. I know it's double what you would pay in a store, probably triple. They're willing to pay that because they want the gun, right? So, and I think that's a great idea, though. That's a good start. And I think that you should really work on it, expanding on that and really making it happen and offer. Look, if you know someone that has a gun illegally, take the gun. Bring it to the gun buyback. Make yourself some money. No one's ever going to know, okay? Okay? And we have to target certain communities. Legislator Nolan, you have to come into the community you in today. And I respect that. He came down to the community. He was there. It's not his district, right? Did that not part? I don't think that's part of the district. No, actually, where is the legislator from that district? Hello, legislator from that district. Are you there? Hello. Wake up, buddy. Wake up. Time to get to work. Thank you, by the way, to the individual that gave me this wine. It was a Christmas gift. I don't really drink, so I keep it here for decorations. And also to make phone calls. Hello? That guy, hey, legislator, there was a shooting in your district. Yeah, you got to get up. All right? I'll see you soon. All right? Where was he? County Legislator James Nolan was there, and I respect that. I do. I got to respect that. Anyway, that's that. I'll give you more details as it becomes available. I just think we need to look at the mental health issue. Let's see where the state of mind this individual was in. And I said this because why did this individual choose to shoot a police officer rather than just give up? I mean, you would have got a gun charge. Maybe it was your last strike. I don't know. We got to get the information. But to make the decision to shoot a police officer was never going to end well for that person. So what, was their state of mind at that point in time? I'd like to know. And if it is like the, incident on Main Street where an officer was injured and the suspect had a gun and stuff, right? There was a mental health issue there. And we need to focus on that. Don't just talk about it, elected officials. Do something about it. The developers can't help with the mental health issue here. And by the way, why don't you guys, man, listen, I wish I could just be in the like something, city council president, the mayor. Which one can I be that could do everything and get it to happen? Tell me, guys, which one? Because I would tell these developers, listen, halt, permits. Hey, Sammy, halt all permits for developers ASAP Rocky. Put all of the residents in the front. All right, while you're at it. Now, you guys are going to pay to fix up Trevor Park and the JFK Marina. Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. Yes, you are. So this is what we want, okay? And here we have the plans already. You guys got to build that if you want to move forward. And it's going to stay public. Why? Because you guys are going to put some additional funds into a trust or, like a trust created to maintain that area for all eternity. Right? Does that not, am I crazy? Does that not sound good? Rather than take away the last public park from the people, especially the Black community, that's sad. And, I'm surprised who have supported that. I believe the president of the NAACP is supporting it. I don't know why. I don't know why anyone Black would support that. Or Hispanic. Just saying. Or white. Just saying. Because it can happen anywhere if it can happen there. And it has. And so we have to fight things like that. Those are public parks. Anyway, folks, moving on. I'll get more info on the shooting, and I'll bring it to you as it becomes available. Again, John Mueller's police commissioner is, says he wants to do something about it. He understands that there is a need here, although the shootings are a lot lower than other cities. 3 shootings so far this year, that's 3 too many. And I agree, especially when 2 out of the 3 officers were injured. That's not good. That's a high probability that you're going to get hurt on the job, officer, here in the city of Yonkers. It's not a good ratio. It's not a good probability, right? Especially if there's an issue with mental health. I think it's time for the police unit to start talking about what are we going to do about this mental health. Also, K2, right? We need to address the mental health. So we need to provide more services for people, okay? Officers, because just arresting people is not the answer. It's not the answer. So you guys have to step up and say, hey, elected officials, we need more programs so we're not out there arresting individuals who should be treated. And then this wouldn't happen to begin with, hopefully. That's all I'm saying. It's a cause and effect. It's cause and effect. And many people have been traumatized and are suffering from mental health issues as a result of the pandemic. Right. So that's what I'm talking about specifically. So anyway, moving on. Right.
Let's get it popping. Let's get it popping.
Freddy wins. Fatality.
Dímelo, carajo. ¿Cómo está todo mi gente? Puñeta. My son said to me the other day, Daddy, what does puñeta mean? Sorry, thought it was funny. Anyway, today I almost got arrested at the building department. And I know I mentioned that, but I want to talk about the deeper issue. First, if you don't know or didn't hear me mention the first time or second, third, because I keep reiterating this, it was 2 minority men, 1 Latino and 1 Black. Okay, these are the guys that are giving me the most problem because all the white people were very nice to me today. Let me just tell you, super nice. Thank you guys. I respect you guys. I love it. I love everybody. I hate this whole white Black thing, but and Spanish thing, but whatever. We got to do it, right? We got to do it. That's how society's set up. We got to do it. We got to do it. You know, the individuals making it personal, and this is something that we honestly deal with a lot in the Hispanic and Black community. It's a crabs in a bucket mentality. Crabs in a bucket mentality. This individual has it out for another minority man, a businessman who's trying to establish his business. He doesn't know anything about what I've been dealing with. He hasn't been the one consoling a crying woman, wondering if we're going to ever make this business happen. Yet he's going to continually try to demean me by telling me, not even asking me, but by telling me that I need to wait outside. Do you know how that feels when I see other people coming right in? I'm here to see the building department. Oh, sign right here. And they go right in. And he says, you did this to yourself. No, I didn't. I didn't ask the building department to purposely give me a hard time. I didn't ask for council members to want to see my business not succeed. Yeah, I'm going to always say that because it's a fact. And I got the fact. Aquí mismito en el bolsillo. So he doesn't understand that. Yet he wants to continue to give a minority man a hard time. And Keisha Skipper, how you doing? Yonkers NAACP. Don't mind me. You were there. You were there that one day and you witnessed it. I know for some reason you don't really want to, maybe you know the guy, I don't know. You know, people know Bully. He wanted to be a rapper until they dropped him from his label. And he went off on me in front of her. You are a member of what are you, vice president of the Yonkers NAACP. You and the Yonkers NAACP, along with other civil rights organizations, put out a letter regarding the statements made by Mike Spano about Jamal Bowman. You labeled that as weaponizing the police against a Black man. Now, let me ask you this. When these two individuals, a Latino and a Black man, Mr. Bully, threatened to call the police on me and have me arrested for disorderly conduct when I was quiet, soft-spoken, sitting there, never once raised my voice. In fact, they caused more problems and more disorder than I did. They did. You can check the video. I was very peaceful, didn't even curse, didn't raise my voice, nothing. Now, they made several threats. I said, well, go ahead and call them. I'm going to sit right here quietly, and they're going to have to come and arrest me for disorderly conduct as I sit here quietly. Okay, go ahead, call them. So I'm not waiting outside. Okay, well, how are you going to do this to yourself? I'm not doing this to myself. See, and this is what I want to talk about. I didn't do it to myself. You're doing it to me, Mr. Latino, Mr. Black man. You're weaponizing the police against a Latino. Keisha, are you going to write a statement about this? I know we cool, but I'm asking you. Are you going to write? Because that's what they did, right? Is that not what they did? Tell me that's not what they did? They weaponized the police against a Latino. Other minorities. And we're going to make us think about it. You guys should have never did that. I'm going to make us think about it. I'm going to make a complaint. I am. You're violating my civil rights. It's a public building. I never once got violent with anyone. I never once disrespected anyone even at all, at any time. I may have been silly, but not disrespectful, not violent, not aggressive. The only one that's ever been aggressive in tone and in action has been the individual that continues to harass me when I first walk into that building. In fact, the last time I was there, the police officers, the real cop, said, go ahead, you can go upstairs. Go ahead, Freddie. But every time I walk in, why? Why? Understand the psychology behind it. Why? Why? This is a crabs in a bucket mentality that we have here in our minority communities. We just can't stand to see another minority doing better than me. That's a sad truth. That's a sad truth. Sad truth. Not everyone's like that, but a lot of us Hispanics and blacks hate to see another man doing well. Hate to see another man of color doing well. Why? Why? You're not going to get me. You're not going to demean me. Because even if I did go outside when you told me to, so what? So what? At the end of the day, you're going to still be you, and I'm going to still be me. And you're going to still be miserable. And I'm not. Okay? But then you made your guys' selves look silly because the police officers now were upset with you guys for wasting their time and asking, why do you guys have a police radio? And why are you calling codes over the police radio 1017? Like either one of you have a real law enforcement badge. You guys never went to the academy, did you? Well, not, at least not the white shirt guy. You know, and it's sad. It's sad. It's sad because everyone that was nice to me was not a minority, was not considered a minority. It was not a black person, not a Spanish person. It was the white people. That's sad. And I appreciate you guys. Thank you. I do. I do. But that's how we treat each other, folks. And that's what I want to change here in the city of Yonkers. And that is why I'm calling out all you sellouts. And that is why I'm speaking about it. Enough. We are not here to tear each other down. We are here to build each other up. And if you're not with that, you got to go. I'm all about helping people. I'm not about bringing people down. If I were you, I would say, no problem, brother. I don't know what the hell you got going on with them. But do you? Go ahead. But you're just doing as you're told, right? Who is telling you that? Who? And no one would have known if I had gone up there and I would have left. They were expecting me anyway. Sad. That's what we do to each other in minority communities. We call it the crabs in a bucket mentality. So we always say it. Got to pull another person down and get up. And you know what? In some job workplaces, oh man, it's bad. It's bad. You get a workplace sometimes when you got a lot of Hispanics and black. I don't know why we do this to each other. Like seriously, like we're all trying to, I don't care about that position. You want to take it, but we should never bring each other down to be that one token. Okay? Not be the one token. I'm just saying. And having me, even asking me to wait outside, it's probably illegal. Okay? I'm going to speak to my legal department, my attorney, and I will, I don't like to sue people. Like I'm already suing people. I'm suing people who owe me money. I don't got time to be suing knuckleheads like this over this stuff. Stupid, right? Now, if you owe me, 30, 40 grand, as I'm total $200,000 right now, I'm trying to recover. Yeah, I'm going to go to court for that because I want my money because I don't want to take a loss, but over this stuff, I don't want to deal with it. I pay my attorney enough. Okay? Enough. And so, but I guess I'm going to have to speak to them. Is this legal? Can they just say, hey, you're on a list. You put yourself on the list. I did not put myself on the list. You dummies put me on the list. Why? Because you know what it was? You know what actually why they put me on the list? Because I was videotaping. They didn't like that. I videotaped it and I put it up. Even Liam McLaughlin, one time when I spoke to him on the phone, he said, oh, so you videotape? Oh, you recording? And well, I just think it's appropriate. Oh, it's not illegal, is it? No, I think it's appropriate. I don't know. I think a lot of things are appropriate that you're not doing. Right? So you want to go for tit for tat, Liam? So yeah, so I want to find out if that's even legal. And if it's not, you guys better take that down. Take all that down. Guys got my license up there. They got a picture of my license. They got a picture of my license. Old buddy sees me. He don't even look. He just right away. You got to wait outside. Yo, you sound so silly, guy. And you look so silly. And I don't know what they said to you inside when they went in. But I hope they told you guys to just leave him alone. Right? That's it. Just leave that guy alone because, you don't want to deal with that guy. Don't want to deal with that guy. But I'll be finding out if it's illegal or not. So, Keisha, I'll be waiting for that answer. Did they weaponize the police against a minority? Huh, Keisha Skipper? You're my teacher. She is. She's my teacher. She's, because I'm learning a lot. She's not like my teacher, but she's, helping me out with some things and understanding things, So I got to ask her. Anyway, so, whatever. But what they were saying is like, oh, the guy, oh, I'm gonna get out of here now. Yeah, I'm done. He's like, oh, you being, you coming in here and causing a problem, being silly. Yeah, maybe I came in, I was silly, but I didn't start this problem. But I'm gonna finish it. Okay, I came up there, I did this whole silly thing. Yeah, I agree, it was silly, right? But here's what you lack in your assessment. It wasn't violent. It wasn't disrespectful, and it got people's attention, and I got what I needed. And I'm Freddie Vasquez, and this is Basement Politics, and I'm going to still be going up in that building department, and I'm still not going to wait outside, so you should still just shut the peace out.
Freddie wins. Fatality.
Yeah, that's it. Folks, I'm Freddie Vasquez. That was your Basement Politics episode for tonight. Officer down, officer down. Please, folks, keep the officer and his family in your prayers. He was 1 week away from retiring. Wow. 1 week away from retiring. So keep the officer and his family in your prayers, please. I pray that he has a speedy recovery. And guys at the building department, I'm not gonna wait outside. Never, ever, ever.
Freddie wins. Fatality.
Keisha, did they weaponize the police against me? Yes or no? Yes or no? I want my statement. I better see a statement by the NAACP.
Jurors could not reach a...
Freddie wins.
Weaponizing the police against a Latino man. Yeah.
Freddie wins. Fatality.
You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddie Vasquez. You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddie Vasquez.
Freddie wins. Fatality.
I was raised in housing. I don't think you were. I went to Yonkers public schools. I don't think you did. We can go on all night with this, honey.
Freddie wins. Fatality.
Come on, give it to us straight. Come on, give it to us straight.
I was raised in housing. I don't think you were. I was raised in housing. I don't think you were. I was raised in housing. I don't think you were. I was raised in housing. I don't think you were. Like I said, political games that are being played. Let's get it popping.
I am out of here, folks. Freddie Vasquez, thank you for joining me. Stay tuned. More to come. Hopefully, I will be interviewing the City Council President, Lakeisha Collins Bellamy, as well as Senator Andrea Stewart Cousins. Stay tuned, folks, because Freddie Vasquez is most definitely doing big things.
Freddie wins. Fatality.